Good morning, students. This is Rupesh, and today I'm going to teach you motion for class 9th, and the topic is of science, right? So, what we are going to study here, that is motion for class 9th, right? So, we are studying motion for class 9th. This is motion, right? So, before starting the topic, before telling you the definition or anything about motion, first I would like to ask you the meaning of this term motion. Now, I suppose this term motion is a very common word, right? This is a term which we generally use, right? So, motion, everyone, almost everyone knows the meaning of the term motion. Motion is like if a body is moving, right? If something is moving, it's called in motion. It's said to be in a state of motion, right? If something is moving. But according to physics, is this definition or is this meaning is considerable according to physics, right? So what according to physics is the definition or is the true meaning of this term motion we are going to study here, right? So according to physics, what is motion? Let's understand. Suppose if a body is moving, it's moving, then what is exactly happening around it? What's exactly happening to it, right? Let us first understand that. So if suppose there is a house. See, my drawing is not that good, so please do consider it, right, dear students? So this is a house, suppose, and there is a small tree here somewhere, right? And there is a rock somewhat like this. There is a rock, right? And a boy, let's take a boy, and a boy starts to run in this direction. Boy starts to run in this direction. So what you're going to notice is that the boy is very close to the house. First, at the initial point when he starts running, he is very close to the house. He is somewhere far from the tree, and he is very much far from the rock, right? Can you see it? Is it clear? Right now, after some time, when he continues to run, he will come somewhere here, right? He's running and he is coming, right? He is running here, and he now is at this position. When he is at this position, he is close to the tree. He is somewhere in the middle, from the house and the rock. Is it clear? Now when he continues to move, take a position somewhere here. Suppose this is position A, this position is B, and this position is C. So at position C, he is somewhere here, right? And at this point, he is close to the rock. He is far from the tree, and he is very much far from the house. Is it clear? So what is happening? What can you see? When a body is moving, I can see one thing. When a body is moving, its position, first its position is at A. Its position is changing according to its surroundings. According to its surrounding. These are the surroundings which are turning red, right? So these are the surroundings, right? So a body is moving, and when a body is moving, it's changing its position. It is changing its position according to its surroundings. Sorry, in with respect to its surroundings. So its position is changing. Suppose if it would have been like this, that for the whole time this body would have remained at a single position. This body would have remained at the single position. The time keeps on passing, and this body does not change its position. Suppose then the position of this body has remained the same throughout with respect to its surrounding, then the body is said to be at rest. Is it clear? So if a body change its position, so the definition comes from here. If a body change its position with respect to its surroundings, or you can say immediate surrounding, is said to be in a state of motion. Is said to be in a state of motion. If a body change, if a body change its position with respect to its surroundings, it's said to be in a state of motion. It's said to be in a state of motion. And if a body does not change its position, if a body does not change its position with respect to its surroundings, is said to be in a state of, now that is in the state of rest. When it's not changing its position with respect to surrounding, it's said to be in a state of rest. And if a body is changing its position with respect to its surroundings, then it's said to be in a state of motion. Now, before proceeding, let's discuss something about this term position also, because what is the meaning of this term position? Most of the student don't know the meaning of the term position. See, a position is a term which we are going to study in the later in the higher classes as well. In 11th also you are going to study about the term position when this topic of vector is going to be there, right? But before right now we are in class 9, so let us first understand the simple meaning of this term position. What is the position? What is the word? What is this word position? Position is the location, the address, or the position of any object. You can say the position of the object, the address of the object, or the location of the object, right? And these terms have the same meaning, right? Position. So first let us understand the meaning of this term position first. So suppose this is a point somewhere on the screen, right? You can see a point somewhere on the screen. This is a point P, suppose, and this point is somewhere on the screen, right? This point is somewhere on this screen, right? Is it clear? So this point, can you tell me the position of this point? Can you tell me the position of this point? Now what is the position of this point? Or if suppose you are sitting at your home, if you are sitting at your home or your place, right, you can see anything like a chair is kept there, right? A chair is kept there, and can you tell the position of the chair? So suppose a chair is there. This is a chair, right? I don't know, I'll make a proper diagram of chair, right? Wait. So suppose this is a chair and this is kept at your home. So you are going to tell the position of the chair, like position of the chair is, where is the chair? Now the question arises, where is the chair? So someone can say it is on the floor, right? It is on the floor, it is kept on the floor. Someone says that it is in front of me. Someone says that it is under the roof. Someone say it is near the wall, or anything you will describe to tell something about the position of the chair, you will describe. But each and every time when you are describing the position of the chair or anything, you are taking the help of some other object. Like first you said it's on the floor. Now the question arises, where is the floor? So where is the floor? That is in your house. Where is your house? Your house is somewhere in the city. What city? Which city? Jhansi. Then where is Jhansi? In Uttar Pradesh, and so on. So when you are defining the location, the position of the object, you are taking the help of some other object, isn't it? Now you're describing a chair, it is under the roof, then you are taking the help of roof, right? You are when it is near the wall, you are taking the help of the wall. You are saying it is in front of me, you are taking the help of yourself. Now I have talked about a point. Suppose this is the point, and I cannot tell the location of this point unless and until I take the help of some other object. I will say it's on the screen. Now you're taking the help of the screen. Now, without taking the help of any other object, can anyone listening to my lecture, can anyone tell me where the point is? Can anyone tell? Just think about it. Just think. Can you? Just think that, can you tell the location of the chair? Where is it? Without taking the help of any other object, can you? Just try. Just think over it. No, you can't. Because without taking the help of any other object, you cannot define position. You cannot tell the position of the object. You cannot tell the address of the object. You cannot tell the location of the object. It's very true. So when you are describing position, you have to take the help of some other object. So position is a relative term. Relative means you are telling about that particular thing with respect to something else. With respect to something else, that is relative. You are telling the position in relation to something else, some other object. So that is relative. Now this point, how to look at this point, you will draw a line this way and you will draw a line this way. You have earlier been taught about this in mathematics, and this is the reason why we draw these lines, and this is called as x-axis and this one is called as y-axis. So this is the reason why we draw x-axis and y-axis. Why? So that you can take the reference of this origin. This is origin, right? Origin you can take, so that you can take the, so that you can take the reference of this point, and this point is called as the point of reference. इसको बोलते हैं point of reference. This is called as the point of reference. With respect to what you are going to define the other object's position, that is called as the point of reference, right? So here you are taking origin as the point of reference. You will say you move some units on x-axis, then further some units on y-axis, and you will reach this point. You have moved, I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 positions, 6 units on x-axis, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 and say 5, right? And 5 units on y-axis, right? And you got the point and you are at the point. So this point is when you will move 6 units on x-axis and further you will move 5 units on y-axis, then you will reach this point. So the position of the point according to the origin. Now you have described the position according to the origin, right? Any point now which will lie on this plane, that is called as the Cartesian plane, where the x-axis and the y-axis is drawn, you will take any point and you can define the position of the point according to the with respect to the origin. Now is it simple? So this is the reason why we draw x-axis and y-axis, because we have to tell the position of the object. When you have drawn x-axis and y-axis, so this x-axis and y-axis you are going to consider throughout the question, throughout the sum, throughout the numerical you are solving, right? Why? Because this, according to this, you are defining the position of the object now. Right? Now suppose there is a point and a child comes to me and he says, suppose sir, I draw x-axis and y-axis this way and this is my origin. Will it be right? Yes, of course it is going to be right. You can draw x-axis, y-axis the way you like. It's not necessary that this has to be drawn this way. But once you have drawn some of the, right, like once I have drawn x-axis and y-axis this way, suppose I have drawn this way, x-axis and y-axis, then this will be my origin. And throughout solving the sum, or throughout considering the positions of any points, considering the position of any point, I am going to take the reference of this origin, right? Is it clear? Now throughout solving the sum, I'm going to consider this x-axis and y-axis as my frame of reference, or this origin as my point of reference. Is it clear? Is it clear? So position is a relative term. Position is what? A relative term. It's a very simple thing. It's a relative term. Relative means it depends on the other object, depends on the position of the other object, right? Now when we have discussed the definition of motion, it says if a body, what was the definition of motion? It was the definition of motion, if a body change its position with respect to its surroundings. What it change? It change its position. It changes position with respect to its surrounding. It change its position with respect to its surrounding. Now the position is a relative term. It's a relative term. Position is a relative term. Position is what? It's a relative term. So motion is also going to be a relative term, because motion is what? It's a change of position. It's a change of It's a change of position, and position is the relative, and position is relative. Therefore motion is also going to be relative. Motion क्या हो जाएगा? Relative हो जाएगा. क्यों? Because position itself is relative, and the change of position is called as motion. When a body changes position with respect to its surrounding, it's said to be in state of motion, and the position is relative. Therefore, the motion is also going to be relative. I'll tell you in the simple words now. I'll tell you in the very simple words. Suppose you are, my drawing is very poor, I told you earlier, so just consider it, my dear students. Suppose very poor drawing, right? So I'll tell you something different in a different way, right? Suppose there are two chairs in a train somewhere, right? And this person is sitting this way, and there is another person, right? And this one is to sit this way, right? So there are two people sitting in the compartment of a train, right? And according to them, according to this person, say this is A, this is Mr. A, and this person is Mr. B, right? And there is the third person who is standing here and observing them. He is standing here and observing them, right? Is it clear? So according to, then this train is, suppose this train is moving, this train is moving, this train is moving, right? Can you read that term, moving? No. Then I'll change it. I'll write it properly. Right? So this man who is Mr. A, in accordance to Mr. B, with respect to Mr. B, Mr. A is always going to remain at the same position. According to Mr. B, this person is also always going to remain in front of Mr. B. And Mr. B, when he will look at Mr. A, he will always find this person sitting in front of him, unless and until he starts moving with respect to Mr. B. So, with respect to Mr. B, Mr. A is at rest. Mr. A is at rest, isn't it? But with respect to Mr. C, suppose this man is C. So with respect to Mr. C, Mr. A and Mr. B both are moving. So Mr. A is moving. Mr. A is moving because the train is moving, the whole compartment is moving, and he is sitting inside the train. He is sitting inside the compartment of a train. So he is moving with respect to C, right? So with respect to C, A is moving. With respect to B, A is not moving. He is at rest. So A is at rest also, and A is at motion also at the same time. So this is contradictory. Why? Are you getting it or not? He is at rest, at the same time he is at motion. That's funny. So it's clear from here that motion and rest are not absolute. They are relative. They are what? They are relative. They are relative. Motion and rest you have to see with respect to something else. Is it clear? With respect to. So when someone asks you what define motion, by define motion. Someone asks you define motion, what is motion? Are you going to tell him? You are going to simply say, first tell me with respect to what you are asking, man. First tell me what. Suppose I ask you a mobile phone which is lying on the table in front of you. There is a mobile phone which is lying on mobile phone. Very nice. Bad poor drawing I have. Some screen, there is some screen, right? There are some buttons, right? So mobile phone, right? So a mobile phone is lying on the table right in front of you, and if you ask it whether it's at rest or motion, so I can't tell you whether it's at rest or motion. Why? Because I don't know with respect to what you're asking. If you will say at the end of the question, you will say that I was asking with respect to moon, and it was at motion, it was at motion, it was in the state of motion, right? And if you're asking with respect to the table, if you're asking with respect to me, it's at rest, right? If I'm not moving, then suppose. Are you getting it or not? So motion and rest are clearly relative quantities. Got the point? It's first, if you are defining motion, then you have to tell with respect to what you are defining motion. So here in the definition of motion, it says that when a body change its position, but definition does not remain till there, change its position with respect to its surroundings. With respect to its surroundings. So we are considering motion with respect to its surroundings. So if a body is changing its position with respect to its surrounding, then it's said to be in a state of motion, right? And if it's not changing its position with respect to surroundings, then it is in the state of rest. And if this point of reference. Now right now they are taking as the point of reference, what they are taking as point of reference, that is the surroundings. If they change the point of reference, they take something else as the point of reference, then according to that you have to answer whether the object is in the state of rest or motion. Like they gave you the example of mobile phone. Like if a mobile phone is tapped on the table and they ask you with respect to the table whether it's in the state of rest or motion, then it's of course at the state of rest, because the table, with consideration to the table, the position of the mobile phone is not changing. But if it asks you with respect to moon, then the position of the object is changing. According to the position with respect to moon, the position of the object is changing. Why? Because earth is rotating, it's revolving, as well as revolving at the same time, right? So the position with respect to moon is changing, with respect to sun it's changing, right? So then the mobile phone will be in the state of motion. So the same thing can be in state of rest, and at the same time it can be in a state of motion. So it motion and rest both are relative terms and they are not absolute terms. So this is the most important thing. This is one of the most important thing you should know when you are in class 9, and further when you will turn in class 11, then of course in the vectors you are going to study this term like position in a very detailed manner, right? So if I'll be teaching you in 11th also, then I'll be telling you more about this. Okay class, so let's terminate the lecture right now. Till here only we are going to keep the lecture for today, and I'll bring up more interesting fact about motion and rest in my next video lectures. Chaliye, then bye bye, stay home, stay safe, bye.